Greetings, my fellow financial ninjas. Today I'm going to talk about 401ks. What are 401ks? 401k is a employee-sponsored retirement plan offered by many companies in the United States. Almost 50 million people participate in this program, and there is about 4.5 million in assets. Where does the name 401k come from? The name 401k actually is a code in the IRS, and it was offered as an alternative to pension plans back in the 70s, and they became very popular. And now most of the employers in the United States offer this particular plan. If your employer offers a 401k plan, you can voluntarily contribute a percentage of your income to the 401k plan. The IRS limits this amount per person to about 19,000 for the year 2019, and if you're over 50, there is this thing called as a catch-up contribution, which allows an additional 6,000, so you can contribute up to 24,000 a year for the year 2019. And these are mostly adjusted to inflation, which means in the future the contribution should go up. When I first came to US, 20 odd years ago, this limit was less than 10,000, and so now it's almost doubled in the past 20 years. Now, what are the advantages of contributing to a 401k plan? The number one advantage of contributing to a 401k, as you probably already know, is the tax benefit that you get. So the tax benefit is in two forms. One, your contributions are deducted pre-tax, which means that they take money from your salary before your taxes are deducted. And once they go into the 401k, they actually go up tax deferred. Now remember, this is not tax free; it is tax deferred, which means that these are, you won't have to pay the tax on it until you withdraw them. And this withdrawal could be in the future when you are 59 and a half, and that's when you probably would be under a lower tax bracket. The second advantage of having a 401k is the employer contribution. A lot of the employers match the contribution made by the employees. It's anywhere from 3% to sometimes as high as 10%. I know some of my friends that work for these large IT companies that actually contribute up to 10% of the income. So, for example, you're making 100,000 a year. The Not only can you contribute the whole 19,000, but on top of that, you can also get 10,000 contributed from the company. Obviously, there are some nuances to it in the sense that you can get the employee contribution after you work for a certain time. Some companies have that, some don't, but usually companies have some kind of contribution, and that's pretty much free money, so why wouldn't you want to take it, right? Then the third advantage is protection from the creditor. So if you get into some kind of a financial trouble, these plans are, since they're part of the retirement, they cannot be accessed by creditors. They cannot go after you. I mean, they can go after other assets, your bank accounts and even your salaries and such. But 401k, since it is a retirement account, they are not allowed to access those accounts for repayment. The next advantage of the 401k is the automatic enrollment. So what I mean by that is you can tell the company that they can automatically deduct the amount of money from your paycheck so that you don't even see it on your paycheck, and so you are prevented from the temptation of spending that money. The next advantage is the investment options. There are a lot of investment options in the 401ks, and many of the planners offer low cost index investing so that you don't have to pay too much money for managing those investments. Some of the older ones, used to have much higher expense ratios, but what I have seen now is that most of the companies that do offer, like Fidelity or Vanguard, they offer a lot of low cost plans for their contributors. The next advantage is auto rebalance. What I mean by that is, when you set up your 401k and you select your investment options, you have the option to automatically rebalance this based on your timing or however you want to do it. Typically, I recommend doing this once or twice a year so that your investments don't get lopsided. So, for example, if you have invested in four different investment accounts, let's say large cap, mid cap, small cap, US, and maybe another bucket in international. Depending how the market reacts, you might have some assets performing better than the others, and so ideally what you would like to do is have them in equal proportion. So having that done maybe every year is a good idea. The next advantage is the compounding effect. As you know, the money that you make in your 401k, not only do you make it on the contributions that you've already made, but also whatever you keep adding every month. So these compounds and even small contributions can turn into large amount pretty fast. Even if you invest it in, let's say, index fund, S&P 500 index fund, which has yielded about 9% in the past 30 years, you can expect pretty rapid growth, and your money could become a pretty large sum in a reasonable amount of time. The other advantage of 401k is the automatic dollar cost averaging. What is dollar cost averaging? It's simply the concept where you're not investing in bulk, but instead your investments are spread over a period of time. So what this entails is that since you're making these contributions every month, the fluctuations in the market really do not affect you, and so you don't have to worry about timing the market and all that. So you are investing pretty much constantly whether the market goes up or down. So this makes your investment much more stable. And what research has shown that the dollar cost averaging method has been proven to be a pretty solid investing style in order to grow your nest egg. And the last option is the rollover option. So if you do decide to change companies, then you have the option to roll over into the new company's 401k, or you can roll over it into a IRA, which is a different vehicle for retirement, and you can continue to reap the benefits of tax deferred growth. The final advantage of contributing to a 401k account is that you are able to take out a 401k loan, for example, as a down payment towards your house. And if you don't have enough down payment, you can borrow it from your 401k and use it as a down payment towards your house. There are different rules regarding getting a 401k loan, but most of the employers do allow that. And if you're living in a very high cost of living area, this becomes a very, very handy tool. Finally, I'm going to talk about whether you should be investing in a 401k or not if you're on some kind of a work visa. Uh, Now, if you're on a very short-term assignment for a few months, obviously it does not make any sense to contribute to a 401k. However, if you're on a long-term assignment, or you are on your path to getting a green card or citizenship or one of those things, it definitely makes a lot of sense to invest in a 401k. One of the fears that people have is that since we cannot take the money out till the age of 59 and a half, what will happen to that money? Well, the rules are pretty straightforward on that. If you were to take the money out from your 401k before the age of 59 and a half, there is a 10% penalty, and then you also have to pay the taxes on it. Now, if that is the case, then why would you want to invest in a 401k? Well, the reason is number one, because you're getting that employer contribution, which averages about 4%, you're already getting free money. And on top of that, you're getting the growth, which is, which it goes up by about, as I said, on an average of 9%. So even if you were to take the money out in a period of, let's say, 7 to 10 years or 5 years or whatever it is, in most cases you would come out ahead if you were to actually take the money out without putting it in the 401k. Um, so what I would recommend is at least contributing to the amount where the you get the full employer contribution, because that is free money and there is no sense in not availing that. Now, let's say for some reason you had to, take the money out. The good thing would be to plan this carefully, and and you will definitely come out ahead. Now, there are different laws governing this. Uh, the one of the biggest thing is that the year that you're going to take this money out, hopefully you won't have any income for that year, since you've already moved out of the country. So you will be in the tax bracket where there is no income, so you'll pay minimal taxes on it. And you can do this for a couple of years and take the money out. um, then comes the question of what happens to that amount. Does it get taxed when you move it to a different country? Now, this depends on the particular country's laws. For India, they do allow up to 2 years of income to be repatriated from abroad. So there's a pretty good chance that you will come out quite a bit ahead if you were to contribute to a 401k, even if you were to remove that money before you turned 59 and a half. To sum up, I do think that investing in a 401k is a good idea, even if you are on a some sort of a work visa, uh, given the advantages of contributing to a 401k. And finally, the disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor or a financial planner, so in order to make a decision regarding your own specific situation, please consult with one. Thank you, and I hope this video was helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.